Is this nigga serious?
Bruh.
Alright, that's enough memes. Apparently Midformer made a stupid video trying to debunk the afterlife, so let's all suffer together LMAO.
To my YouTube channel. This video will focus on addressing the 5D arguments for the afterlife in Dragon Ball. So before addressing my points, I'll make it clear that I am going to use the Versus Battle wiki standards to determine whether the arguments are correct.
I feel like we're bots using AI voices lolo lalalo lalala.
Now before any obstruction, let's start with my points. First of all, we have this scan from Daisenshu 4, which translates to higher than the sky. From the human world, it is impossible to discern a heavenly kingdom that transcends dimensions. The gods come from this place, looking down on the whole world. Generally, people tend to interpret the phrase transcending dimensions as a reason for the afterlife being a fifth dimensional structure. However, that's objectively wrong. So in order to determine if something is transcendent, we must know that the term transcendence is vague, which can be used in several contexts.
Correct. However, in context it's referring to the afterlife, which transcends dimensionality and is a higher plane of existence. Otherwise, if it transcends space and time, then it'll be 5D.
Which might mean to go beyond the ordinary. For instance, it's very common for a heaven and hell to be defined as higher planes of existences to simply indicate its relative position with respect to other structures. And as seen the earlier translation, it was stated that the gods come from this place, looking down to the whole world, hence in order to prove higher dimensions.
Which already proves it's a higher plane of existence LMAO.
Let's take an example of a cosmology, where entirety of 3D universe is a subset of a much greater four-dimensional space, or a cosmology, where four-dimensional structure is just an infinite simul surface of a five-dimensional structure. As we know that this isn't the case for macrocosm, since the living universe isn't infinitesimal surface of the afterlife, and more like its relative position is simply shown higher. Hence there is no qualification of a fifth-dimensional structure. That being said, I'm done with explaining why the afterlife isn't a fifth-dimensional structure.
Are you trying to say it's lower? LMAO, this doesn't debunk nor refute anything at all.
With enough views, I'll probably make a refutation for its outerversal scale as well. Thanks for watching.
Well, time to prove why the afterlife is indeed outerversal, so that I won't have to rebunk Midformer twice. So let's get this over with. The afterlife is a realm that exists outside of time and space and is on a conceptual level. It also lacks the concepts of space and time as shown here. This scan is from the super exciting guidebook, and these are from the manga and show. It's also metaphysical on a highest level. Spiritual. There's also misconceptions about the afterlife that most people get wrong simply because they don't read things carefully, so I'll go over them. The afterlife having time. In context, it's just talking about Earth's time and not the afterlife. Here's another time misconception. What King Kai is referring to is about the training hours. You can see he says the word, like. Here's the definition of the word, like. For example, the color maroon looks like red, but it's not actually red, it just happens to look similar. Hopefully that makes sense. Another misconception is the afterlife having gravity. This would be false because the Kinkais have powers of their own. And it's a non-physical realm, so how can gravity truly exist? Well, that's the thing. It's not real gravity and it has its own rules and mysteries, therefore logically speaking gravity cannot exist in a non-physical realm and lacks the concept of space as well, since both are intertwined. Another idiotic take is how they use this Goku moves argument. Another idiotic take is how they use this to debunk the afterlife. However, let's read this carefully. Here it says the legend says it's about 1,000,000 kilometers, and what are legends? Therefore, this doesn't debunk anything, and let's say that the Snake Way is indeed 1,000,000 kilometers. This wouldn't debunk the afterlife as a whole. Lolo lololo lololol. It's also funny how Dragon Ball Down players use this scan here, which there's nothing wrong, but you'd be ignoring the afterlife's full context, especially on the word transcendental. Here's what transcendental means.
It's not love. It's you!
Here's another afterlife scan saying it transcends dimensions.
I will not let you destroy my world!
Which is all consistent and accurate to everything I've shown so far. And to prove how Goku ties into all this makes completely sense, and here's why. Both Goku and Beerus were making shockwaves affecting the universe, even the afterlife as shown in the manga. This is also heavily supported as in the guidebook. It was described as a super-dimensional battle. And I know the down players will say,
"How you contradicted yourself? Because it says 5D.
when it's talking about the animation for Super Saiyan God, lolo lalolo lalolol. The super dimension also happens in Dragon Ball Super Broly, where people purposely misinterpret these scans by saying it's 4D, yet in context the team is talking about the animations and CG productions. Lolo lalolo lalolol.
No, stop it, Goku! If you do this now, it's going to drain away all the time you have.
All gods of destruction are beyond dimensionality, making them all outerversal. And yes, Koyama is reliable. Goku's battle with Goku Black was also stated to be superdimensional. I bet the down players are still going to say that these characters are universal or 5D, yet it wouldn't make any sense for them to be universal or 5D at this point. Lolo lalolo lalolol. They just can't accept that characters like Cell Max, Frieza, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, all gods of destruction, all angels, the Grand Priest, Goku, Goku Black, probably even Krillin, Jiren, Broly, and Lord Zeno are all outerversal or layers into outerversal or possibly high outerversal. Lolo lalolo lalolol. Another goofy downplay Dragon Ball down players like to use, but it's funny how they tell us we can't read when they are the ones who can't read. Pay attention to what King Kai is saying here. He's saying in Earth's terms. What does that mean? It means Namek is in the living world, therefore providing the afterlife literally lacks the concept of time. Lolo lalolo lalolol. Here's another goofy downplay they use as well. Down players somehow think just by one scan they claim they debunk the afterlife as a whole, when this doesn't debunk everything that I've shown. Manga lacks context and mangas all say different things, so I used the one that was consistent, so cope with my facts, goofy down players. And here in context is talking about the distance to get to a certain destination. This doesn't mean that time exists, LMAO. And just because time is being mentioned doesn't mean time exists, LMAO. That is the most brain rot goofy argument I've ever heard. It's hilarious how these goons claim Koyama isn't reliable when he is, and the reason why he's saying it's his opinion is because of people like this who hate Dragon Ball and don't want to admit that Goku solos most of fiction, LMAO. Most of Koyama's opinions ended up being true, therefore if something is in his opinion that's actually consistent, then it's valid, so sit down, goofy down players. I would also like to point out that Akira Toriyama forgets stuff, so he finds the staff more reliable, further proving that Koyama is indeed valid. Here I'll show you. And here's proof the RPG guidebooks being E-Dade canon and are valid, dumbass down players. It's not just some guide for the game, it's also a guide on the afterlife and characters, so sit the fuck down and cope with these facts.
You want to know what your big mistake was, Black?
And that's it for today. I can't stand Dragon Ball down players who act all cocky and arrogant yet duck these scans and downplay in order to fit their biased narratives. Most of the time they duck, strawman, misinterpret scans, concede, and debunk themselves without them even realizing it, and it's hilarious, LMAO. Anyway, I'm done here, and remember, Goku solos your favorite verse and character.